The year was 1941. It was a typical Thursday afternoon. I was more exhausted than a phone-operating call girl. I was finishing up the last of my paperwork, dreaming about the moment I could get home and pour myself a neat scotch and tune into an episode of Dick Tracy on my radio. I didn't expect any more clients that day, but when she came a-knocking, I couldn't say no. That broad was what I like to call a tall drink of water.
Detective Dent, I presume?
Who's asking?
The name's Phyllis Mulray.
What can I help you with today, baby doll?
Well, I've heard you're one of the best private investigators in Indiana, and I've come into some bad business.
You look familiar, dollface. Are you sure we haven't met?
I'm sure we haven't. I'd certainly remember you. But I've got into a sticky situation, and I need your help.
You seem a little edgy. Why don't you ease up and tell me what happened?
Well, when I was about 7 years old, my parents died in a horrible automobile accident. My father's brother, Heathcliff, took me in and has been a father to me ever since. Well, that is until 2 months ago when he passed away. Anyway, I inherited from him quite a few priceless jewels, one of which was a 10-carat diamond necklace that belonged to my grandmother.
All right, I get the picture. You got no parents, but your family's loaded. Cut the waterworks and get to the chase.
Well, Mr. Dent, the last time I wore that necklace was to my uncle's funeral. 2 days ago, when I went to get it from the safe, it had vanished. There are only 2 people who know the combination, and that's myself and my Uncle Heathcliff. I know someone stole it. I just know it.
Well, that sounds like quite a predicament you're in, Miss Mulray. Would anyone else know the combination? A friend or a relative?
Absolutely not.
And you're sure you didn't have him taken out to be cleaned?
Would I be sitting here right now if I had?
I suppose not. Do you know anyone who would steal from you? Got any enemies, Miss Mulray?
I don't believe I have any enemies. However, my uncle did just pass away. If anyone knew where we kept the necklace, they might have seen it as the perfect opportunity to come in and sweep it out from under my nose.
I suppose that could be the case. Let me ask you a few questions of my own, Miss Mulray.
Please, call me Phyllis.
Okay, Phyllis. What was your uncle's full name?
Heathcliff Neff.
I take it you're married then, Mrs. Mulray.
Widowed, actually. Just a few years ago.
You don't sound too beat up about that.
Well, maybe after you solve my case, we could discuss it over dinner.
I wouldn't mind that.
Phyllis's invitation to discuss her deceased husband over dinner was hauntingly seductive. That dame had eyes that would bring rock Hudson to his knees. I wanted to take her out, but I knew I couldn't let myself be distracted from the case at hand.
Miss Mulray, where did you live with your Uncle Heathcliff?
Why, right here in Indianapolis, Detective.
You ever live anywhere else?
Not for any important length of time.
Where did you go to school?
Ah, yes. I went to Indiana University in Bloomington for 4 years. Graduated in 1933.
This diamond necklace given to you by your uncle. Why not go to the police? Why come to me?
And risk waiting months for an investigation? I've heard you're one of the smoothest investigators in town, and I need a man who can solve my case today. I need you, Detective Dent.
Well, Miss Mulray.
Phyllis.
Miss Mulray, are you still interested in horseback riding?
Why, yes, I am. Wait just a second. How do you know that about me?
Well, sweetheart, Apart from your prestigious family background, you're a gal with a pretty memorable face. When you walked in here, I knew you from somewhere. In 1932, you were honored as the Indiana State Equestrian Champion, were you not?
Well, I'm flattered, Detective, but how on earth did you remember that?
Excuse me, Miss Mulray. I need to make a call. Yeah, this is Detective Daniel Dent. Can I have Officer Keyes come to my office immediately?
Now, Daniel, what's all this about? I told you I didn't want to go to the police with this.
Miss Mulray, let me be frank. I get the feeling you're trying to play me like Bing Crosby and a baby grand. When I saw your picture in that newspaper, I knew I saw you from somewhere. It was a picture of you holding your blue ribbon, standing next to your horse, and your father, Eugene Neff.
What exactly are you insinuating, Detective?
Your uncle never gave you anything. You probably didn't even have an uncle. You came here to legitimize the insurance claim you're gonna make on the diamonds later this week.
No, you're wrong! You're all wrong!
You can explain that to the judge. Officer Keyes will take it from here.
Just another day, another dame, and another case solved by Detective Daniel Dent.